And for those of you who are just joining us for the Social Media Bootcamp, welcome. My name is Brian Osowski. I'm the Marketing Director for the Visitor and Convention Bureau. And this is an exciting day. I mean, I know we've got a lot of water quality issues going on. We have a lot of challenges that my team and the communications team here at the VCB are working through. But this is an exciting day, Social Media Bootcamp, because, you know, social media, the trends, everything is changing so quickly. You know, we like to do a little bit more of a deeper dive, bring everybody up to speed, answer your questions, have some one-on-one time at the end of the session. And there's nobody better to help us with that than our friends at MMGY Global. I'm going to introduce them to you here in a second. Just some housekeeping issues. If you haven't signed in, please sign in on our sheet before you leave. Restrooms are out the door to the left, toward the back hall, and also across the lobby. And we have some snacks. I think they have some cookies, maybe some sugar to help keep us awake, help keep things going. And that's really about it. This is going to be about 3 hours. We'll have a break at some point. It's not a scheduled break, but when these guys are looking out and seeing that we're losing you, that's when we'll have a break, right? Okay, I guess that's it. I want to get us get us started. Let us dive right in. MMGY Global is our ad agency based in Kansas City. They've been working with us for 8 years now, I think. This is Megan Conder and Mackenzie Davidson. They are active on our social media account. There is another member of the team, Gina Colleran, who is in Kansas City right now, monitoring our social media, which is nice to know. And then here at the VCB, we have 2 people from my team that are dedicated on our on social media. That's Courtney Hersel, who's our content marketing manager, and Josh Lambert, who is our marketing specialist. And they work with Mackenzie and Megan and Gina on all of the content and everything that we push out, and they're doing a really, really good job. So I'm going to hand it over to Mackenzie, and I guess we're going to have some Q&A as we go. I'll let you talk to them about how you'd like to handle that.
There's that. Hi, everyone. Yes, so we can talk. Okay.
I hope.
So feel free to ask questions. Kind of, if you were at co-op, once we're kind of through one section, I'll just take a pause to see if anyone has a question. If not, we can have Q&A at the end, or if you'd rather just come up to Megan or I and just ask a one-on-one question, we're more than happy to answer those as well.
I was just told we are recording this. I'm supposed to let you guys know that so that it's accessible to other people after the fact. If we have questions during the session, I'm going to ask Josh or myself. Somebody will bring the microphone to you so that it shows up on the recording. So just a little extra.
Perfect. Okay, so welcome to Social Media Bootcamp. Social should be fun, so I hope today is semi-fun. I hope you guys learned something. A lot of it kind of range in experience, so I hope, if you don't understand something, you want me to repeat it or want me to say something again, just speak up and let me know, and I will do so. Okay, so here is our agenda. Again, 3 hours seems long, but again, hopefully it's fun enough. You guys are thrilled and engaged throughout the presentation. So we'll start with a few industry trends, go into content strategy and kind of a few steps to help you get to a strategy that works for your platforms. We will touch on crisis communication, as that is always prevalent currently. Social platform tools. I'll go over a few tools that would be useful to you guys. I ensured that we were highlighting tools that were of no cost, just so you know. I know not everyone has a budget to have tools that have a monthly or yearly subscription, so I just wanted to go over a few things that are free that you can download that you could use tomorrow if you wanted to. So social media metrics, again, we'll dive into actual channel metrics that are offered to you, again, for free. So no reporting tools needed, just to kind of dive in and see, if you only have a few minutes a week or a month or a day, just kind of look at what's most important and how you can kind of implement that in your content strategy. Go over a few new Instagram features, because Instagram, everyone's favorite. Maybe not. Maybe I should take a poll on what everyone's favorite platform is. Facebook targeting, so we'll touch on that. I know if you were in co-op, I went through a few targeting audiences that we use. But Megan's going to talk through how you guys can create a few audiences of your own using Facebook's platform. We'll review co-op again if you weren't able to make it or want another review. And like I said, Q&A, but again, feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. Okay, so here's the team. Brian introduced us, but here's all of our lovely faces again. So you have Courtney and Josh here at the VCB, Megan and myself, and I probably should have included Gina, but she's not here, so she wasn't included on the list. That was probably mean of me. But Gina's also a part of our team, and she's equally as wonderful as everyone else. Okay, industry trends. So the data I'm going through is from our proprietary study of the Portrait of American Travelers. So every year MMGY conducts a study just based on kind of traveler perception from the American U.S. audience base. So these are questions and kind of data from this year's study. So 43% of U.S. traveler time is spent on social media networks. So almost half of the time spent online is on social channels. So again, always prevalent to make sure you at least have some share of voice within that half of time. U.S. millennials, so their time spent online is 52%. So while millennials, of course, are a little more savvy, maybe some, at social and perhaps spend a bit more time, I think it's really important to note that it's not by much. It's only about by 9% that they're spending compared to the general population, which is at 43%. So still high across both kind of audience segments. Okay, so travelers with social media profiles, so this is 2017 in black compared to 2018 in red. Facebook, I think we all know Facebook's still kind of king. It's still prevalent. It's still one of the most widely used channels across age segments. So I think everyone here most likely has a Facebook. Everyone's mom or dad has a Facebook. Everyone's younger cousin has a Facebook. Whole kit and caboodle. Instagram, that's where we've seen the most growth over 2017 to 2018. That is kind of where new trends are happening, new skills, and it's where just kind of the majority of people are starting to spend their time when looking at social networks. Again, it's important to note that that is about almost 50%, while travelers who have social media profiles, that's almost at 90% for Facebook. Again, so almost 100% of travelers in the U.S. have a Facebook. Twitter, if you guys are up with Twitter, it's taking a decline. Not as many people are using it. I used to be an avid fan, but I even don't check in on it as frequently as I once did. So it's something that people just aren't spending as much time on. And we'll go through just kind of best content to use on that platform because, again, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach to all of these channels. Pinterest, pretty stagnant growth. Still a useful tool if you have what you need for that channel, but we saw flat year-over-year growth with travelers who have that profile. Snapchat still increasing. I think it's important to note that is kind of a younger demographic that's increasing that usage on that platform. And still, when you look at everything, it is far lower than even Pinterest or Twitter on travelers who have adopted that platform. Okay, so that was, again, whole U.S. traveler segment. Now we're going into millennial travelers. And as you can see, Snapchat beats Pinterest out there. So again, highlighting that that is a younger demographic. I think what I will try to highlight throughout my presentation is social platforms aren't a one-size-fits-all approach. You guys don't need to be on all 5 of these. Pick the ones that your audience is on and the ones that you have the content for and that you feel comfortable producing high-quality content for and that you feel comfortable being able to manage, and stick with those. You don't have to be everywhere. It's better to do one thing really good than spread yourself than try to be on every platform available. Okay, so when asking, I like to use social media to share my travel experiences. 54% of millennials do, 40% of Gen Xers do, and then 29% of boomers do. So again, social is used to share those experiences. It's used to kind of brag. I think if any one of us go on a trip,
we do have a stat that says about 30% of millennials share just to kind of brag, actually. So,
I mean, I would.
Yeah, I've done it.
I'm going on vacation next week, and if you guys want to follow me, I'll brag all week long. And then 27% of travelers consider social media posts from friends and family when they're looking for travel inspiration. They're going to go to those people who they know, they trust, who have had good experiences in places, and kind of glean their travel insights on where those people have already gone. That increases to 31% of people had visited a destination, partially from research or feedback from a social network. So again, that's a third of travelers. They're looking at social and they're using what they learn on those platforms to make a travel decision. I think we've discussed this in many social boot camps, but again, we do want to show an authentic, view into our business, our hotel, our attraction, and what better way to do that than highlight photos from people's friends and family, photos from people who have already visited your hotel or attraction. So using that user-generated content, it's shown to perform 50% better than stock photography because social users are savvy. They know what's a stock image, they know what's a real image, and they can tell that and really kind of let that authenticity shine through, which again is validated by 84% of consumers trust UGC. If you kind of look at all brand imagery, all stock imagery, anything of that nature, UGC is the most trusted form of content shared on social. Video, again, so almost 2 billion users will consume video content via mobile in 2018. So that's a lot. Video content is very prevalent. Again, if you don't have the strongest video content, that doesn't mean you need to do video content. Do what you can do and what you're able to do. But Facebook Slideshow, again, is one way we can help you guys through co-op placements produce some video content, and you guys are able to produce those slideshow videos on your own through Facebook, so that is one way to kind of get into that video game without having to produce, high-quality video assets. And then 70% of millennials watch video content weekly, so again, big number for Facebook, and that's really kind of where they're driving their content and making sure people are seeing those videos. Yes, okay, so again, I think it's really important. Visual imagery is king on social. That's what makes people stop. That's what makes people look at your content. You'll see how fast this goes. I'm sure you guys are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, when you're standing in line waiting for your lunch, or standing in line waiting for your morning coffee, or whenever you're kind of just by yourself. At least I do. I pick up my phone and I'm going to go to Instagram, I'm going to go to Facebook, I'm going to kind of scroll through as fastly as I can. So users spend 2.5 seconds viewing content on mobile or on desktop compared to 1.7 seconds on mobile. So again, that is less than 2 seconds you have to grab a user's attention. So you want to make sure that you're grabbing that user with the best image possible and you're really producing high quality content. As I just talked about video, I do have a few best practices. And these are directly from Facebook. So again, these are what they look for, and these are the videos that they're kind of bumping up to that viewership compared to those lower quality videos that may be shared on the platform. So keep it short, especially on mobile, especially with that time span we just saw. Video works best when it's about 15 seconds or less. Of course, that depends on the content you have. That does not mean every video you produce has to be 15 seconds. That just means if you can get to the point that quickly, you should. To wax eloquence on something that can be kind of consumed really quickly. Capture that attention, as I just mentioned. I would start with the most compelling parts of your video. If that's not text, if that's a really stunning image of your property or a sunset or anything like that, start with that, lead with that, and then go into the information you want to share. Use vertical or square video. You want to make sure you're taking up as much space in that newsfeed as possible. Square format's typically recommended for Facebook, but even vertical, if you have video assets of that nature, those really work when you can to kind of take up more space within that newsfeed. And then feature your brand message early. So along with that stunning imagery, you really want to make sure they know who you are and what you're talking about, and to get that key point across as quickly as possible. And use captions. So again, I don't think I have listened to a video on Facebook with sound on in forever. You want to make sure that, again, some people, I'm sure everyone's guilty of looking at Facebook while at work or in a public setting. So your sound's not on. You want to know what they're talking about, what they're saying, without having to turn on the sound. So make sure anything you really want people to know is within the captions of your videos. And I should say, if you do have a voiceover in a video, Facebook can add that caption on their own. That's a feature they have. So when you upload that, you should see a little box that you can check that allows them to automatically populate those captions for you.
Hey, Mackenzie, can I jump in on you real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, so I know you guys are taking notes. I forgot to say, we will also upload this presentation to leavecb.com this afternoon or tomorrow morning so that you can go back and reference it. So if for some reason you didn't get all of the notes that you wanted to today, you can go back after the fact and use this as reference. All right?
Mackenzie?
Yes.
Question. So if I'm videoing on my cell phone, because I don't have an expensive camera,
Yes.
would you recommend holding my phone like this, or like what looks the best on social?
I would recommend holding the phone vertical as is and taking video that way.
Okay.
And that question was, for the audio recording, what's the best way to hold your phone if you're taking a video with your cell phone, if you want to switch it to horizontal or keep it vertical, and I would always recommend keeping it vertical. Okay, content strategy. So we're just going to go into a few learnings to hopefully help you guys create that strategy for your platforms and kind of assist you with that monthly content creation. So 3 key principles. Visual content is king. I think I've already mentioned that quite a few times, but you want to make sure, you really want to make sure that you're including high quality, really engaging, really inspiring imagery. I said it in co-op and I will say it again. When you're adding content to a content calendar or deciding to share something, you should always think, would I like this on Facebook, or would I comment on this, or would I take time to kind of look at this and learn more about the page, or read the caption of that post. So remember the 80-20 rule of content? You don't want to just shout kind of brand messaging at your social following every day, all day. You want to make sure you're providing them with helpful information, providing them with inspiring content. Again, 30% of people are going to social channels to learn more about a destination and perhaps book a vacation because of the content they saw in regards to that destination. So you want to make sure that the content you have is really inspiring and really kind of creates that sense of I want to go there versus just talking about yourself and kind of shouting your brand messaging from the rooftops.
And these principles are things that you'll kind of see us talk about throughout the entire deck.
Yes. The 3 most important things you'll learn today. I'm just kidding. Well, maybe, I don't know. And then number 3, authenticity is everything. You really want to make sure you're authentic. You don't want to sell people something that you don't have. You just kind of want to find what you're good at and share that with your audience. And again, social users are most of the time pretty savvy. So I think they can really see if you're not being truthful, if you're not sharing the most real content or imagery. But just authenticity is very important. Yes.
For those of us that weren't here this morning, what is the 80-20 rule?
Oh, that was not part of this morning. The 80-20 rule is 80% inspirational content, 20% talking about your deals or your events or your sales or anything of that nature. So 20% is that branded messaging that, again, we all have to get out. That's why we're here. We are in marketing. But keeping the majority, keeping that 80%, really inspirational, really aspirational, and really just showing them the highlights of, your brand. Okay, so here's a good kind of step-by-step of channel approach. So I would use these when you're thinking of the content you have, the information you want to share, and just what platforms make sense for your brand. Again, Facebook, that's where kind of innovation happens, especially in that video space. A lot of information can be on Facebook through information tabs, photo, video. There's a lot within just the Facebook space to kind of grow. And then long-form campaigns. So I know the Beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel, we do quite a few campaigns throughout the year, and they always primarily live on Facebook, again, because that is where the majority of our audience resides and interacts with us. Instagram, that is primarily inspiration. That's not a place to share sale information, share special deals, things of that nature. And I guess I should reiterate, this is organic, so if you do have that sale or book now type messaging, that's where Instagram advertising would come into play, either through a co-op or on your own. but that is kind of how that can live within the Instagram space. But in that organic space, in that newsfeed you're kind of scrolling through every day on your own, that's really for inspiration. Sharing user photos, of course, if you have permission, and then just sharing kind of those beautiful shots of your hotel or your attraction. Twitter, so again, this is really for news. Events you can put on there because it is more of that real-time platform. And customer service, I think people still, if they have a complaint, they always go to Twitter first, and that's kind of that spot where they are able to hide behind their keyboard a little more and kind of give a little rant. So that's really what Twitter is for sharing those news, sharing those updates, and then making sure you're kind of keeping an eye on your community service and responding to those who might have questions, inquiries, or complaints at times. Pinterest. So that is really destination or attraction or hotel specific. That is also for inspiring and vacation planning. So you're not only inspiring people to want to check out what you have to offer, but you're also providing information on vacation planning. I think a lot of people use Pinterest, if they have it, to find, a packing list for where they're going to, or, 10 must-see spots, or the 10 most photographable spots of the destination you're going to. So that's really what that is a driving force of. So if you have any web content that kind of highlights those types of planning opportunities, Pinterest is a good place for those to live. And Instagram stories. So we did separate this from Instagram just because Instagram stories can take up just as much time producing and creating than just the Instagram channel can, so that is something to keep in mind. And that's really used for that kind of behind the scenes and discovery. So taking that inspiration kind of one step further and giving the audience just a little bit more of a story and making it more of a storytelling component than you could with just one image post that you typically upload to Instagram. Any questions there? Perfect.
Hey, Mackenzie, I have a question.
Yes.
And I have the mic.
Yes.
Hey, do you talk later in this presentation about cadence on the various channels?
We sure do.
All right, I'm just double checking.
We told him to ask that question. No, I'm kidding. Content buckets. So this is just an example of how you could kind of frame the content buckets or the pieces of content that you're laddering up to those larger messages that you have. So it's just kind of in a graph format. So say there were 5 things you wanted to talk about, or 5 things you have information for, the things your audience typically asks questions for or engages with the most. Those are the things I look at when kind of determining how you make these content buckets. I like to call them buckets, but of course you could call them themes or anything else. So let's say guest moments, destination features, hotel features. So if this was for a hotel property, different features or experiences you guys have within your hotel. Holiday content, don't want to overdo it with that. That's why it's only that little, I guess I can use, where is it? That little 5%. I mean, today's probably National Social Media Bootcamp Day. But that doesn't mean you have to talk about National Social Media Bootcamp Day. So pick those holidays that are relevant for your brand. Don't overdo it. Maybe just have 1 or 2 features of that a month that really ladder up back to kind of your overall message. And then promotional content, again, keeping that fairly small, following that 80-20 rule, any deals, special offers, big events you guys have, making sure you are sharing that, but making sure you're not overdoing that and adding in the rest of kind of the features you have within your content strategy. Any questions there? No? Okay, so here's an example. This is kind of a lot, but this is how we structure our content calendar here for the Beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. We create content in a bi-weekly space. That might be hard for you guys to sit down and create, content for 2 weeks ahead. But we typically recommend, if you can, looking at those 2 weeks ahead and creating content for those 2 weeks. You don't want to go too far ahead because, again, things are changing. You might have new information. And we found that just creating kind of this month-long calendar, there's things that happen that second weekend for that 4th week of the month that you wouldn't have known until that 2nd or 3rd week. So again, this is always changing. If something happens, we always switch something out. But we like to kind of highlight, and I guess you can't see it over here, but to the left of our days, we have different content buckets that we kind of then remember when we're crafting this content to make sure we are kind of touching on all of those content themes that we've established for our kind of year-long content strategy. And then we include the image with our copy, so you guys, it's always helpful to kind of know what that image is. It's good to look at it in this format because you can then say there were 3 turtle shots in a row. While we love the turtles, that could get a little repetitive, a little boring. We want to make sure we're switching up our content and diversifying the imagery shown, just so we're not showing kind of really similar imagery throughout the week. So that's why it's kind of helpful to drop those images in as well. Channel posting cadence. So again, breaking this down by platform, reiterating you don't have to be on all of these. Pick the ones you feel you're most strongest and most comfortable at managing. But for Facebook, so really focusing on that quality of content versus quantity. It's better to post every other day than daily if that's what you can do and if that's the amount of content you can produce that is of that high quality. Even limiting that to 3 times a week, if that's what you can do, is better than posting every day just for the sake of posting every day. We recommend just sticking, if you are posting every day or multiple times a day, we recommend sticking to that 1 piece of content per day on the platform. Facebook is becoming more pay-to-play as the years go on. Organic content is kind of dwindling, and they're making that less of a priority in the newsfeed for brands. So you want to make sure that you're not hitting your audience with 3 posts a day, because then those 3 posts are competing with each other, and they're fighting, so your own content's fighting for that spot in your audience's newsfeed. And then just keeping it short. Again, you saw how fast that newsfeed scrolled. So posting with 80 characters or less, just so they can get to that message and within that 2.5 or 1.7 seconds. Instagram, again, focusing on that quality of imagery shared versus a daily posting structure if you need to. And 3 strong posts a week are better than 7 so-so posts, especially now since you see posts from Tuesday on a Friday on Instagram just because of their newsfeed and how they update that. It's better to have those quality posts that then if they get a lot of engagement, they might show up on Friday to a user who doesn't typically interact with your channel, but because it's kind of seen an uptick in engagement, it might then get a spot on their feed. Twitter, always include a high quality image with each tweet. And that's for brand. I know personal, a lot of people just kind of say something funny and that's, for their friends and their audience. But for brands, we always want to make sure to include an image. Again, it's still a visual platform. Even if you're talking about an event, you want to share an image of that event. If you're talking about news, you want to share an image of the piece of news coverage that you got. So anything like that, just making sure you're including that image. It garners higher engagement on the platform than text-only posts. And then Pinterest, if you have this platform, we always recommend 5 to 10 pins twice a week. So again, just making sure you're pinning multiple pins on the days you are pinning, just to kind of take up more space within your audience's Pinterest feed. Okay, so a few best practices. Said it again. Quality versus quantity. Follow a realistic posting cadence that works for your channels. Like I said, don't overdo it. Don't create social accounts for the sake of having them, and don't post every day for the sake of posting every day. Create those accounts on platforms where your audience spends their time and is actively engaging with your content. Remember that 80-20 rule, 80 being that inspirational, aspirational content, 20% being that branded promotion that you guys have. Authenticity is everything, making sure that your organic content is shown in the most authentic light, using user photos if you have them. Respond to comments on your page within a 24-hour span. You want to make sure that you are engaging and responding to people who choose to interact with your page, and not having them wait and hang out too long. And then don't delete negative comments unless they violate your comment policy. Users will respond positively if they see you approach a negative comment directly instead of hiding it. If that user that said something negative can't find their comment the next day when they check, they'll get more mad and share more comments and continue to kind of be negative on your page. So you want to make sure you address it head on. And if it is kind of a sensitive matter, it's always best to respond to that post so that them and the rest of your audience know you have addressed that person, and ask them to send you a private or direct message so you can take that conversation offline and continue that conversation without the rest of your followers seeing what's happening. Okay, crisis communication, again, that kind of followed up to those negative comments we were just talking about. And we're going to have Brian jump in just to talk before we go into that.
Yeah, we talked about whether or not to include this because your crisis communication plan for social media should really, in a lot of ways, mirror what your organization's crisis communication plan is. And Mackenzie said, well, we can talk about the do's and don'ts and best practices for, communicating with folks and that kind of thing. I think that's great because we're doing it right now. And that's why I wanted to hop up here for a few minutes. Obviously, the water quality crisis we're referring to it now has elevated, even just in the last few days. If you turn on the evening news, you look at the front page of the news press, everything is about why you should not go to the beach. And look at the dead fish and the other wildlife, the turtles, they've been counting now, the whale shark. It's been picked up by NBC Nightly News, it's been picked up by the Wall Street Journal, it's been picked up by the New York Times. This is very serious, and any properties or accommodations in the room know exactly what I'm talking about. You've probably experienced some cancellations. Your guests are calling and saying, when will this end? And we're not able to look into the future and answer that question. When Hurricane Irma was here, it was like, okay, the storm has passed, we've assessed the damage, we've recovered, we're open for business, and we're off and running again. This is a little different. So when it comes to crisis communication for social media, specifically yesterday, we were asked to go to the county manager's office, myself and Courtney, and then our communication team, Francesca and Jackie, several assistant county managers there, wondering what our recommendations are to communicate what the county is doing, to communicate what visitors should expect, where can they go for more information, the questions that they're asking we want to address, right? We are transparent. You should always be transparent. We ask them to believe us when we're telling them all the good things that we have to offer when they're planning their trip. We also need to be honest and tell them when there's a problem. Because if you didn't know there was a problem and you invested in a trip here with your family and got here and found out all this was going on after, say, referring to our social media page for, inspiration, and we didn't say anything, I think you're going to be upset. So, anyway, for the last few weeks, as this has been elevating, we sort of took a lot of attention away from the beach, the coast. We focused on all the other great activities that our destination has to offer. But what we found in the last few days, it didn't matter if we were talking about a brewery or food or 6 Mile Cypress Slough or anything like that. As soon as they saw a post from the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel, it was giving them a platform to start talking about all the other issues. And I think Courtney and I agree, we were a couple days late in being proactive. We started to get beat up pretty bad on social media. So we had our meeting yesterday, and the first post, went today, addressing those issues. And if I can see, hold this for me.
I will.
Gosh, it's hard to get old. I can see 2 miles down the road, but heaven forbid I have to read something on my phone right in front of my face. I've got it. So the idea here is, look, again, to be transparent, straightforward, a little late to the party and being proactive. But the county felt it was important to let people know what we're doing, but we didn't want to take sort of that op-ed approach like our communications team is taking with Roger and the county administration. They're going to get our story out in a lot of Southwest Florida newspapers, eventually through the whole state, and then they have a plan for rolling some of these comments out nationally should this problem continue. But here's what we posted a little bit earlier today. Like many of you, we love our beautiful beaches. Recently, we've experienced 3 water quality issues impacting our shoreline. These include red tide, red drift algae, and blue-green algae. Our visitor safety is our #1 priority, and we want you to have the facts straight from our beaches. We'll be updating the current beach conditions page on our website with everything you need to know. That page can be found here, and we included the link. Thankfully, the conditions we face today will improve. We will continue to closely monitor our beach conditions and make that information available to you. That went out on both Facebook and Twitter, with the idea that we are now going to engage with every single person that comments, if it's a question or if it's a constructive comment. Mackenzie's going to talk to you a little bit more about best practice and how many times and whatnot you engage with people. And then as we move forward, Courtney and Josh and our team in Kansas City is going to be sharing with everyone what the county is doing to correct, to clean up, to confront this issue head on. So as you listen to Mackenzie talk about crisis communications, obviously every situation is different. Your individual businesses and organizations could have your own situations, or you could be part of a bigger picture problem like we're having right now. If any of you want to talk to me or our social team about the types of posts that we're planning on pushing out so that you guys can do the same on your social media, we welcome that. All right? And again, there's going to be time at the end of the session today if you want to come up and talk to any of us about that. But I thought it was important and timely to sort of pause the boot camp just to address water quality issues and how we're handling it with all of you. So there you go. How was that? All right, thanks.
And before I get into the next steps for crisis communication, did anyone have any questions about content strategy that they wanted to ask before we move along? No? Okay, perfect. Okay, so it's always better to have a plan before something happens than after it happens. So here are just a few easy kind of 3-step process to develop a basis of a plan. Again, you don't know everything until that crisis happens. Every instance is different than the last, but at least having a few established guidelines will help you kind of move forward and respond as quickly as you can. So step 1 is establishing those crisis management tiers. While crisis communication sounds very severe, there are some, small little instances that still kind of follow up into those tiers that aren't as serious as, stage 3 of your tiered process. So determine that level. So what is the incident? Who does this impact? And what are the possible outcomes? A lot of step 1s are just, complaints about their room, or, they had a bad time, or just kind of really low-level complaints. Of course, those are really easy to mitigate. You have a few approved responses, and you can kind of follow up with that person again, directing them offline and making sure that they feel heard and feel appreciated, up to crisis tiers such as water quality issues that we're facing now. So those next steps are kind of, the next steps you follow will differ just kind of based on those potential outcomes. Step 2, determine those internal responsibilities. Brian just touched on that Courtney is really kind of the gatherer of all that information, and she's making sure that we have everything we need to let our audience know that, we're on it, we're providing you with as much information as possible. So assign those roles and responsibilities to your team for each tier. So, kind of when people know what their clear path is when these instances happen, that kind of helps mitigate that scramble that could happen and a panic if something big occurs. Again, the severity of the situation determines the amount of assistance needed. For those small complaints, for instance, the VCB, we have some improved responses that then Gina, who's managing those channels right now, would then go in and be able to respond with. In situations like this, it's a little more detail, it's dealt with a little more care. Courtney is kind of making sure that those are being handled and providing that necessary information, again, because this isn't something we typically have answers for. And step 3, creating that response protocol. So develop that action plan, create a few suggested responses for potential issues. It's always better to have something before than, when you're in the middle of it, because your time's kind of then taken by whatever that issue is. And utilize any past experiences you've had to kind of determine what might arise in the future. So again, water quality is something that happens, not to this level, but we do have a few responses when people ask about quality that are already established for those smaller, say, Tier 1 issues versus, what's happening right now.
And we do have some best practices and recommendations for crisis communications. The first one is follow the rule of 3. So we recommend only responding to users 2 times maximum. Now, of course, if people are still asking questions, you will want to respond. But if people are just angry, still saying mean things, if you respond twice and they're still angry, nothing you say is going to make them happy, so it's best just to leave it at that. Again, don't delete any social posts, no matter how critical. Again, authenticity and transparency is always the best policy. And a lot of times, too, you'll notice that some of your real brand loyalists will actually kind of do the heavy lifting for you. So when you see some complaints, a lot of people will still back you up. On Twitter, when you have really long posts, make sure that you number them, just to make sure that they're seen in order. And then, of course, I'm sure all of us know this, but regardless of the tone of the user, it's always best to stay polite and as positive as you can.
Kind of like service the customer is always right, so you don't want to get in a Twitter feud as a brand with somebody because a lot of people are just venting to vent. So I think that that's really important to note. It's really easy to see who's actually concerned, who's actually upset, and those are the people you're going to want to engage with and make sure you're responding to and making sure their voices are heard. There are people that it does not matter what you say, they're going to be mad, and they like to just yell, and they have bravery behind their keyboards or their little phones. So in those situations, especially with that offensive language, a personal attack or threat, you want to make sure that you're just kind of hiding those or ignoring them. Any questions? Yep. Okay, so social platform tools. So here are a few tools that I hope you guys could find useful. Again, no cost for these. So if you wanted to look into them today and sign up, you could do that. The first one, does everyone know what Facebook Business Manager is? Does anyone know what Facebook Business Manager is? Woohoo! Okay, so Facebook Business Manager is a platform that Facebook has had for many years that allows you to be your brand on Facebook without having to connect your personal account to your Facebook page. So how do you set this up? You go to business.facebook.com. You click that little create an account. You enter your business name, enter your business email. Again, that's really important. You want to make sure it's separated from anything you do as your own person on Facebook. Enter that business email, not your personal email account, and then add your assets. So if you have an ad account, that's also where that would live. So it's basically a hub where all your brand Facebook activity can live in one place. Again, separating your brand from your personal pages. So page accounts, ad accounts, and people in your organization. If there are a few people that manage your Facebook presence, you can add those business emails into the system, and then they'll have a business manager account that's not tied to their personal page. Oh, a few more things. Not done. So that's really what. Oh, yes.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Thanks. So we recently did that at SBDAC, switched over to Business Manager, but one of the problems that I'm having is that now I see things, I'm not connected to a feed. That's my problem. So basically, if I'm on my personal account and I follow all these other pages that are in some way related to what SBDAC does, I can't share from my personal page to the business managed page. So do you guys have any workarounds? Have you come to this issue before?
Yes, you should be able to, I don't have this online, but if you click that little icon that has your personal profile image, you should be able to then see your business account, and it should say your personal name and then your business account. Or when you click share, It should say share to my account, share to another account.
They're disconnected. So because it's now listed not under my personal, you get what I'm saying, it detaches from your personal page. So when I go to, I manage several social media accounts on Facebook, so I can see all the ones that are connected to me that are not listed on Business Manager, but as soon as I transfer to Business Manager, they're gone. So anybody, I heard some, I don't know, so it seems like more than one person. I don't know if this is a thing I should take up with Facebook, or I just wanted to see if you guys had an opinion or a workaround.
We do not have that issue. I'm sorry. So I'll look into that. I've never experienced that, and so that's surprising. Yeah.
So if you want to show us, we could help you out.
Troubleshoot.
Cool, thank you.
Yes. Okay. And was there another question? I think there was.
Hello.
Hi.
We've got business manager account they have set up. We have probably 7 or 8 Facebook accounts in our organization. I go under business manager, but folks that manage the different other accounts, I don't currently have them going through business manager because I don't want somebody that's not doing one account to accidentally do something to that account. So I'm wondering, like somebody like our special events division that's here, which is one of the ones I can see, would they be able to do business manager and not necessarily have access to all the other 7 that I can see?
Yes. So that's also helpful too, because you can assign that person through that email address what pages they can see. So since you are the admin of that business manager page, you can assign lower levels. So don't give them business manager admin access. Just give them page editor, page advertiser, whatever they're using. Just give them that access, and they'll only be able to see the pages you have selected them or you have assigned them to. Yes. Yes. Also, you can remove people really quickly. So, should something bad happen, you can click that remove button, and they can't do anything bad on your channels. Is there another question? No? Oh, okay.
So I'm Beth Oliver with Offshore Sailing School, and we're partnered with resorts where we have our schools.
Yep.
So obviously they have their own page. We have our own page, and I'm the admin on it. Why is it that if I have followed and liked my partners' pages, they're not appearing in my news feed? So I'm not seeing, so when I go to add them again, because they're not coming up in my normal news feed, I'm not seeing their posts so that I could like and add something to it and, share it. I'm just wondering, I go to put them in the search bar again because I'm like, what happened to them? And it says you're already following that page. But then why is their content not appearing in my feed if they also have liked me and followed, our page? Is it like I can't keep up with these algorithms and all these changes,
Are you in your personal, are you talking about your personal Facebook feed?
No. My business Facebook.
So, if you're working through Business Manager, they don't have like a news feed, so you wouldn't be able to view them there. So you would have to go through facebook.com instead of business.facebook.com to see
Right,
those.
but so I'm in my regular page.
Oh, wait, yes.
Where and it on the right hand side there's the feed, right? And I've already liked their page, but for whatever reason their content is never showing up in my business page, not my business page,
Just
but
on
my
your
page
newsfeed?
feed, right?
Do you regularly engage with?
Yes. If I go to their page, then I see the content. I'm like, why didn't this appear in my own feed? Like they just posted this an hour ago, and hasn't shown up. It's like they're missing, and they shouldn't be.
Right. That's an algorithm.
I would say it's an algorithm.
Facebook just kind of knocks brand pages. They're always going to put their friends and family and non-brand pages above any brand page on the news feed.
And Mackenzie kind of mentioned that a little bit earlier on, where Facebook is really going toward brand pages kind of having to pay to play. So a lot of times all of our brand organic reach is kind of getting bumped for, again, friends and family. And I think you're going to start seeing more of that now, especially with all of the issues Facebook has been having, they're really trying to push putting Facebook back to where it was, where you're seeing your friends and family first.
So yeah, for that, unfortunately, I think you just have to go to each of those pages to see what that content is.
So next fiscal year, actually, the VCB, we've just decided we're lessening the number of posts that we're pushing out on Facebook, and every single post is going to have money behind it, just to make sure that even the people that are following us and engaging with us are seeing us. So we're having to keep up with Facebook's changes as well.
I think it was right, Penny.
There may be a notification, like a setting within that company's or page where you can actually click something to allow it to send you notifications whenever they post new content.
It's called, follow. So it's that follow button. If you want to follow them, you will get a notification when they shared something. So that could be a way to keep up. Yeah, great point.
So if you currently have a business page connected to a personal account, can you still set up a business manager setup and all that will transfer over, or does it start new?
Like all the data?
Yeah, like your feed and your history and all your followers and everything, does that transfer over?
Oh, yeah. So even if you set up a Facebook Business Manager, that's just kind of like a shell until you add pages into it. So you won't see, again, a newsfeed of brands you're following. So if you did want to, you can keep up if you wanted to, if you trusted, everyone trusts themselves. So if you were that personal sole owner of that personal page, and if you kept your personal email on there, and you were that controller from a personal standpoint, you'd be able to see, all the newsfeed stuff that you want to see. But in a business manager, it's just it's adding the page to the manager accounts, all your likes, all your fans, all your followers, everything, all your data is still in the page.
Think of it more of like a dashboard versus the actual page or Facebook. It's more of a dashboard to kind of house all of that for you.
And again, if you guys are kind of the owners of your social channels, perhaps you are still tied from your personal email, you're still tied to that, but if you have any employees, interns, things of that sort that you want a little assistance with your Facebook pages, I would really recommend adding them into a business manager. So, if they're new, they haven't been working for you, you don't fully trust them. I think we've all seen those stories where, that American Red Cross one was like 6 years ago, but where she shared something on Twitter, like how she was going out that night, but it was from the American Red Cross, and she was an intern. You know what I mean? Just avoiding those situations. So you want to make sure, outside of yourself, people that work for your business that might help you have a clean break from their personal lives and their business life on Facebook.
And if you do accidentally add them with their personal one, they'll receive every single business notification through their personal Facebook, which can kind of get to be a lot sometimes. So just another reason.
It's true. Any more questions? Yeah? Okay, so here are a few monitoring tools that you can download from your phone that just make it a little easier. I know sometimes you're not at a desk all day, you're on the go, you're in a boot camp for 3 hours. So you can manage your pages from your phone. So Facebook Pages Manager is, again, tied to that Business Manager page or any pages you have through your personal account. And you're able to do everything you can on a desktop through Facebook Business Manager right here on your phone. This little guy will show you any additional pages you have, so you can seamlessly go to that page, and once you're on that page, you are acting like the page. You can see what's in your inbox, you can respond to people right away, you can see those notifications you always get, and you can even check your insights just right here. So anything you can do on your desktop, you can do on your phone and respond to people and keep that community management going even while you're not at your desk. Ads Manager, if you guys are promoting any of your content or creating ads on your own, Facebook has a separate app called Facebook Ads Manager. We still typically, again, we mostly sit at our desks all day, but we use, our desktop computers to place ads. But if you're ever on the go, if you ever need to pause something, if you're noticing something's not running, want to check an insight really quickly, you can do that within this Facebook Ads Manager. You can create ads from your phone. You can use any creative tools they have. You can get notifications on those ad placements, check in your settings. Again, anything you can do on desktop, you can do here. Well, yes. And we are not versed in political ads, so I don't have too much insight. We stick to travel. It's a little more fun. Stream. So Hootsuite, we find Hootsuite a little better than the Twitter app. Again, it's free. You can update. You can upgrade. But if you just want basic kind of streams and monitoring and engagement, just use the free version. This is my personal one, so you don't see a lot of streams. But you can create, your home dimensions. You can come down here. Well, you can go to edit, an ad stream. So if you want to follow people, or if you want to see all collection from, the hashtag #FTMyerSandAbout, you can create a stream. You can look at that really easily from your phone, see what people are talking about, and engage with those people in real time. So again, you're not only seeing your homepage on your Twitter account, you're not only seeing your direct mentions, you can see what you've scheduled, you can see what's going out, you can post content from here, and you can follow different hashtag streams or different keyword streams and interact with those users who are utilizing those hashtags or keywords from your phone. Any questions? Oh, yeah.
Does using Hootsuite actually affect your reach and that kind of things if you use them cross-platform for several, scheduling your posts with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram? Does it affect your metrics and your reach and all that? Because I heard something about that previously, that it's better to do them through each platform versus through Hootsuite.
I have not heard that. I don't think so. That's through an API, so they can't really, they can track it, but they're not dinging people for scheduling through different platforms. We use a different platform that our agency pays for as a whole that we schedule all content through, and we have not seen a difference between if we post organically versus we post through that scheduled platform. So no, it just makes your life easier if you want to schedule through one app.
Yeah, that's great news, actually. And my second question was, now that Instagram is kind of playing with Facebook for advertising and whatnot, I'm somewhat unclear as to how they really work together and what the benefit would be to adding your Instagram if you're putting money behind an actual Facebook ad, like a carousel ad and not just a post boost.
Yeah.
So
different. Sorry, you were something else?
Oh, that's okay. I was just wondering what the difference was there.
Yeah. So Instagram is owned by Facebook. So anything you can do on Facebook, you can practically do on Instagram these days. When you go to that back to Facebook Ads Manager within your Business Manager platform, anything you place, if you connect your Instagram account to, will then just tie together. So targeting is mirrored. Everything on the back end is run by Facebook. So all targeting, all Instagram advertising is run by Facebook. So it's not two separate entities. They're working together. They're not working against each other. Every ad you create is then just through, Facebook. Facebook optimizes that or adjusts the creative automatically. So you upload one image and you can resize that for Instagram when you're creating an ad, etc. But they use that same image, same copy, everything's just done on their back end once you upload all of your assets, and then they create that ad that can live simultaneously across platforms. Facebook targeting, then you're targeting those behaviors on both channels. Facebook on the back end just sees how people are interacting on Instagram versus Facebook. They know what Instagram account is tied to what Facebook account, so they know those users who are cross-platform, who are seeing that ad on both places and how they're interacting with it on Instagram versus Facebook. And they're just gathering that data to then ensure that they're sending it out on the appropriate channel, or they're delivering it to that user based on their social behavior on both platforms. Does that make sense?
So, for example, I just recently placed a partner ad on Facebook with 3 separate businesses. We've gotten together and placed an ad. And we can only have, for, say, our portion with Edison Ford, we can have our Instagram page attached. Now, does that mean the money that I put behind it on Facebook will also have ads running on Instagram?
Yeah, if you choose that option, yes. So Facebook, again, they're looking at where people are interacting with and say, if that ad is getting more, click-throughs or whatever your objective is, video views, engagement, if that target audience is doing more of that result on Facebook, they're going to make sure that more money is being pushed behind that. If it's the opposite, they're going to kind of taper that money and push it towards Instagram to make sure that's where the money's going, since that's where that ad is getting the best response from. So it's not really taking it from one or the other, it's just making sure that the money's going to where the audience is interacting with it.
But if you have one budget, that budget will go toward both Facebook
Yes.
and Instagram unless you are creating two separate ads.
Okay, all right, thank you so much, appreciate that.
Perfect. And we do recommend combining the placements, though. Facebook will just be able to learn more about those audiences, and the more your audiences run and the more time you have targeting ads to those audiences, the stronger and more accurate those audiences get. Okay, design. So this is Canva. It's pretty handy dandy. As you can see, they have a lot of designs. They have, if you want to add text to an image, if you want to make a little event RSVP, that's not up here, but it kind of is the size of this Facebook app. So if you have a Facebook event and you want to add, social media Bootcamp 2018 into that and register people, you can create a little image here that then you would upload to Facebook. There's a lot of text features. They even have templates, which are kind of fun. So a lot of these are kind of find templates. You click find templates and you'll see these different templates that have kind of the cool text already there for you, so then you can just kind of delete and type what you want. So that makes it easier too. You can also start from anew. You can upload your own images, of course, behind those, so you have those real images, even adding UGC in there, but then just having that text element that can kind of help you if you don't have somebody who's well-versed in Photoshop or in design, which I am not.
This is a great tool. We have a whole creative team at our agency, but we still use Canva for some things.
You can upload, and speaking of that, because you can upload fonts, and that is in the premium version, but if you guys do have branded fonts you want to adhere to, you could upload those fonts in here. I don't think it's really it's not a lot of money. This is a pretty basic tool, so even if you did want that premium version to upload fonts or brand colors that then you could utilize in templates you create, you can make assets pretty fast. And again, it's really helpful because they size everything based on what you need. So business card we would never do. But when you get more into social, they have more sizes where this is social media, that's that 1:1 ratio that we typically share on Facebook and Instagram. They have Twitter sizes, they have Facebook event sizes, they have different sizes for those different platforms at your disposal, so you can just drop your image in there and it's already resized based on those sizing formats. And it's just canva.com. Okay, another one. So when I was talking about video and even adding text to those and making sure that kind of that text and brand messaging that you want across is shared through text on screen versus spoken. This Legend app, this is one Facebook actually recommends. Our Facebook reps are the ones who like to push this out and say this is a really great option for those who might not have a full creative team at their disposal. So you can turn text into animation and create these kind of short form social videos that then kind of add these fun text elements to any images you have. And this works seamlessly with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well, so they have those sizes and you can upload and share directly from this app. But it's pretty fun, it's easy, it's free. You download it, just type in Legend app in your app store, and you can do everything from your phone. And make pretty fun assets. And of course these aren't moving, but you can see different types of text and then they'll move. You can even add borders or different elements that would then move just to make a standalone image pretty visually appealing, and again, adding in that video format that Facebook loves so much. And then quick resources. So these are links, so that's not too exciting, and they are very gray, so I apologize. You can barely read them up there. Facebook Blueprint. Does everyone know what Facebook Blueprint is? Does anyone know what Facebook Blueprint is?
It's our favorite tool.
It's very fun. Well, I probably shouldn't say fun, but you learn a lot. Facebook Blueprint is a whole course book designed and created by Facebook. You can take, if you have 5 minutes to learn something that you don't know about in a Facebook or Instagram or advertising setting, all three of those things, they have a quick little course. You watch a video, you answer a few quiz questions, they give you step-by-steps, and really they set you up with all of the necessary information you need to learn more about that. Say I might have said something, you didn't want to ask me a question, they wrote that down. Chances are there's a Facebook Blueprint course for you that would teach you that in 5 to 20. I think the longest are like 20.
Yeah. And there are different levels too. So whether you're just getting started with Facebook or you've been working in it as long as Mackenzie and I, there are courses for every single level.
And it's really helpful if you have new people starting, if you're not as savvy in social media as you wish you would be. Again, you start kind of with the basics and can go up to really hard courses. Even implementing a pixel on your site, they have a course for. So there are a lot of things that are really, really helpful that are right at your disposal, completely free. Facebook.com/blueprint. It's a nice little resource. Facebook Help Center. So even that question we had about sharing, Facebook support. So Facebook Help Center, if they don't have that, a question or a form or a step or written kind of dialogue to help you through any processes you have, they have a lot on Facebook Help Center. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes things are case specific and they're issues just your page has, and nobody else has ever heard of this issue you're having, and you can't understand why, because Facebook can be wonky. I will even agree to that. Facebook Business Support is there for you. Even if you don't have a direct contact at Facebook, you can send them a little email. You can even chat with them through messaging, and they'll respond to you within about 24 hours.
It's usually quicker than that, because even I'll use business support sometimes if things are glitchy. And you can send an email, but the easiest thing to do is honestly go through Facebook chat with them. And usually it's within probably 15, 20 minutes that somebody will respond and you have an actual Facebook chat with them.
And it's not a chatbot, it is a person.
It is a real person.
So again, if you're just lost and have no answers, Facebook support is the way to go. And this will be shared with you, so you guys will have those links after this presentation. Okay, any questions about any of those platform tools I just walked through? No? Okay. Social media metrics. Again, as I mentioned, we're just looking at metrics and reporting within each platform. So broken out by Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, within those actual platforms, just show you where to find that data and what to look for within that data. After this, if you guys are interested in additional paid tools or anything like that, I'm more than happy to share a few recommendations, but I really wanted to make sure we were just highlighting free options that you guys have at your disposal currently. So Facebook Analytics. So if you don't know where it is, it's right here. So here's your page. Go up here where all of your information is and click Insights, and you'll be here. So the two most important areas to look would be reach and posts. This front page is just your overview, so this is your page summary, and it just shows the last 7 days, I think it goes last 30. And on each of these tabs, you can always export the data into an Excel format if you wanted to share with somebody that doesn't have access to your page. It's always good to do that, so you don't have to give everyone access. So when looking at reach, you want to see, you can scroll down, reactions breaks it down by all reactions, but really here we're looking at where those actions are coming from, what date ranges they're coming from. There's a lot of spikes, so people really didn't like what we shared on the 7th, so that's okay, we'll learn from that. Same with the 15th or 17th, maybe it's odd numbered days they don't like. But anyways, as you can see from the 12th through the 16th, with the highest peak on the 15th, we were doing a lot of things people were really liking, apparently. It's always good to look at these spikes, go back on those days, see what was happening, see what that content was, but more importantly, also see what this content was, and make sure maybe you don't share that as much. It's okay if you have things. Social, I think that's the beauty of social, and that's why we have fun with it, is because if something doesn't work, there's always a new day, and if something doesn't work, you can at least say you tried it and you had fun, and
it's always changing.
But wouldn't that be the 80-20 because you have to...
Very true, and you do. And that's what it's important to know. And even for paid strategy, so if this was one of those 20ers, these are the 20s, that might be where we put a little more spend behind just to make sure people are still seeing it and interacting with it and taking the actions we want them to take. Because obviously, organically, people weren't picking up what we were putting down. So that was really important. So again, when you're making those content buckets, look here and see what people are liking, what they're not liking, and base those percentages. Guest highlights 4 times a week. Make those ranges based on how your audience is responding to that content you're sharing, not what you think would perform the best. Okay, so posts, where I think this is really important, and this will differ, of course, week by week, month by month. But this is always good when you're deciding, when to schedule that content or when to share content on what days. You can see when your fans are online. No surprisingly, most people are sleeping right about now. But about 7, 8, 9, which is, we're all off work. We're half watching television, half on our phones. That's when people are on their phones the most. That's when they're engaging with your content the most. And even just by following this, I was jumping ahead of myself. We'll start here. So you can see days. You can see kind of who's looking at your posts on what days. And then in the platform, if you scroll over these days, you'll see how that changes. So this is average. But you'll see, say I'm hovering over Sunday, there will be a blue line that appears here that, may have a little spike right here instead. That's a little different from your overall weekly average. So then you can really nail down by day when your audience is online the most, and that's when you should post, or post maybe an hour before, kind of give your post some time to get up in there and have engagement and hopefully get up to that top of the news feed, or, middle, somewhere close. But yes. And then pages you watch, I don't know if, oh gosh, wow. That was not the laser. You can look at top posts from pages you watch. That's an easy way to look at. So Facebook really adds those pages. You can add your own to that, or you can have Facebook just kind of tell you what pages are similar to yours or match up to who your followers are also following. And that's really how they compile that top pages to watch. You can always click over to there and just look at their highest performing posts and kind of see the content they're sharing. And if there's anything, you can say, oh, that's interesting. I never thought of sharing content like that. Wow, that's a cool image, blah, 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 blah. And just kind of glean inspiration from those pages. And especially since followers are similar and they're engaging with those, it's always good to kind of see what other people are doing within your space. Okay, so Twitter analytics. This is really easy. You log in, go to this little shell or whatever your profile icon is, and go down to analytics. So what I wanted to show here, of course, you can see all of those things I just told you about in Facebook. But again, because Twitter is the majority of that kind of news event type platform, people are really on there for those brain scale events and just kind of different themes. Going actually to the events in analytics is really helpful. Oh, I didn't know that this little laser. So analytics, you'll automatically be on this home page. Just click on over to events, and you'll see an overview. You can even see recurring trends. So if you're playing that content calendar, you can see what people talk about, every August or every September, things of that nature. But here's an overview. So August 20th, obviously MTV, obviously I did not know that. I shouldn't have said that. Well, we all learned August 20th, the MTV Video Music Awards will happen. They're estimating about 12 million tweets, which is like a 30 million reach. The Beaches of Fort Myers and St. Paul would not talk about the MTV Movie Awards, so that would be a no for us. But if you had some sort of tie-in, by all means, go for it. One we might tie in is back to school. So back to school, again, the whole month of August, people are talking about that. That's what people are talking about on Twitter. That's a trend. That's an event Twitter is seeing on the back end and providing. They're, of course, just looking at the U.S., but you can, if you keep scrolling down, I would just encourage you guys to explore this. You can see what other countries are talking about, big trends for not just the U.S. demographic, but other regions of the world. Again, they're estimating 5.4 million tweets about back to school with a 29 million reach. So if there are any offers, any updates, any new features, or any type of back-to-school messaging that could kind of tie into your brand or your attraction, August 1 through 31st would be the time to talk about it, because that is a trend that Twitter is seeing, and that is something that's very apparent and very relevant within those search and keyword tabs. And then same with primetime Emmys. Oh gosh, you think by now I would know how to use this clicker. Same with primetime Emmys. These are very television based, but they could be sports. Twitter fans could have been in last month, but just things of that nature, things to look ahead for. These are just in that entertainment section. But if you scroll down, you'll see, other topics past entertainment. These were just kind of those top 3. But this list keeps going and going and going. So a good thing to explore when you're on Twitter and, gosh, you don't know what news and updates you should share. This is a really good one to kind of base that content strategy on for the month ahead. Instagram analytics. So this is a phone. Gotta look through your phone. So again, opening your platform via your phone. They don't have analytics on the desktop version. They rarely have anything on the desktop version. So keep it on your phone. We chose MMG like a label. Clicking this little guy. Going to your insights. There's activity content in your audience. Again, similar to Facebook, you can see those actions that were taken. Thursday was a really big day for MMGY that week. I could not tell you what happens, but I wish I could. But we got a lot of engagement on that post. And then you can see profile visits, etc. But again, because this is a really visually appealing platform, you want to look at those spikes and you want to see those actions taken. You want to see what type of imagery that is, so you can make sure that that's kind of where your focus is for your weeks ahead when developing that Instagram strategy. So another, if you go over from activity to swipe to audience, you can look down at your audience. You can see the gender. So MMGI Global's audience is made up of 71% women. That should really alter your content strategy. If almost all of your audience is women versus men, I think images of footballs maybe not interact well. That could have been what we posted on that Saturday when it was really low. So you want to kind of tailor your content, tailor what you're sharing on Instagram to the demographic that is following you and is interacting with you on that daily basis. And again, looking at those times of days where they are online. This doesn't give you a holistic picture, but you just swipe through. You can see days here, but I would recommend hours, especially just so you can see on what days your audience is online and interacting with those posts. And again, because content isn't shared in kind of real time, it matters a little less, but you still want to try to get people when they're on and they're interacting. So, for us, I would say noon and 9 p.m., which are, that's kind of makes sense if it's a bunch of MMGYers following the MMGY Instagram account. Noon's lunchtime and 9 p.m. is when they're watching TV, so that's the times they're on their phones. So again, just making sure you're aware of that so you know what and when to post on those days. Do you want to keep going? What? And then I'll amend and talk about, questions. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Again, if you do want to talk more about actual paid tools, if you're kind of ready for that, if you want deeper analytics, I'm happy to provide a few recommendations of, what we use, what we've used in the past, and any reputable brands that would be good for you guys. But I'll let Megan take it over for Instagram. Instagram, everyone's favorite channel. Oh, wait. No. Are we taking a break? We're taking a break. And then we'll talk about Instagram. This is perfect time to take a break, and then we'll talk about Instagram. So let's say 3:15. Everyone sit back down, and we can continue talking. That's what I was asking if you wanted to do. Oh, I didn't know what you were saying. Oh, sorry. Back.